Hi, my name is Tim, and in this video, I want to show you how I manage the content for our church website. So let's get started. We're going to open our internet browser. This will work on any computer, Mac, Windows, Linux, any computer with a modern browser and a good internet connection. So I'm going to open my browser, and then I'm going to need to go to the link that I can log in. And so if you're the one managing this content, then we will send you a link with a login provided for you. And so let me log in here. And as soon as you log in, you will see what's called the dashboard. We are using a system that is called WordPress. Now, the system that we use, it's a modified version of WordPress. We go through a third party and they manage the servers and all the files that run on the servers. And so we don't have any kind of server-side access. We have access to everything we can manage through this dashboard and only what we can manage through this dashboard. And so this is primarily managing the content. If there's any server-based issues, then we would need to contact that third party who's managing that for us. Let me give you a little introduction to the dashboard here. Here we see a little box. This says, at a glance, 618 posts, one sermon, 80 pages. Now, there's a couple little details here. Posts is how I manage the messages. There is a different way to do that, which is what this one sermon is, but I don't use that. That is what the posts are for, and I'll get into that more when I show you how to do that. And then we have 80 pages. Pages is where we organize the lists of all the different sermon series or for all the different messages a speaker has given. Different kinds of announcements as well. We use that for pages. Here in the middle, you can see some recent activity. And then you can see some options, quick draft, WordPress, events, and news. I really don't use any of this, to be honest. This is just what shows up. What I use is here on the left. Here on the left, we have this sidebar here. And you see all kinds of different options. Posts, media, pages, comments, projects, sermons, appearance, and so forth. We're going to be using those tools in order to manage the content for the website. So the first thing that I'm going to show you, which we do on a weekly basis, is uploading the sermons and then linking them to the website, and then also the words of edification or communion. Now, we're using YouTube as the place for our video and now also our audio. It's all together in that YouTube video, which makes it really easy. We need to go to YouTube. We need to copy the link for that video, and then we need to paste it into a new post for the message. So let me show you how we're going to do that. Let's go ahead and head over to YouTube. I'm going to click the plus in my browser here for a new tab. I'm going to go to YouTube. And we're going to need to be able to really just be able to watch the videos. We don't have to have access to the actual church account to be able to copy the link. And so I personally am subscribed. So my personal YouTube account, you can see by your little picture here, this is my personal YouTube account. And so I just need to go over to my subscriptions on the left here. And you see Calvary Chapel Perfect Love. So I'm going to click that. And our most recent videos, we have the April 11th edification by our brother Bernard. And then we have 1 Samuel chapter 8 from Pastor Darrell. These are the two things that I'm going to actually upload, or not upload, but link in this video to our website. So I want to click on the edification video. It'll start playing. We don't have to really watch it right now. That work is done. It's already on YouTube, so I can pause it. And then underneath the video, there's the thumbs up, thumbs down, and share. I want to share it. And when you click that share, it gives you this little pop-up in the middle with a link. And that's what we want. We want to copy that link. And I'm going to go back to my tabs and switch back to my dashboard for the church website. And remember, I said the messages and words of edification and such are posts. So here on the left sidebar, I am going to go to hover over the word posts, and this little menu pops up. I want to add a new post. So we're going to go ahead and fill in the information. We're going to add a title. This is the April 11th, 2021 edification. So that's the title. Down here, I do not, for these kinds of posts, use the divi builder. Okay, we're just going to leave it as it is. And you see this nice little kind of word processing window. Click once in that window, and my cursor pops up. You'll also notice the title. Underneath the title, it automatically created a website link for this page, which is wonderful. But back here in the editing portion, all I need to do is paste in that link. So I'm going to right click, paste. And now notice for a brief moment, the link as text popped up, but then the website automatically changed it to a preview of the video. And that's one of the handy features about YouTube and WordPress working together, is that there's a lot of things built into WordPress that will automate some of these things. And so we have a nice video preview. We are all done in this central main portion of the window, but we need to change some settings on the right-hand side. See where my cursor is over here? At the top, we see Divi page settings. We're going to change the page layout to no sidebar. And then we're going to scroll on down, leaving everything else the same, to the publish box. And it says publish immediately. I'm going to change that publish immediately by clicking edit. And I want it to say the 11th. And then I'm going to give it a time in the afternoon. Now, this is military time. So I think if you want 1 p.m. in the afternoon, you just add 12 to it. So 1 and 12 would be 13. And then I click OK. We do want to notice 13:39. Okay, we'll come back to that later. Press OK. Now we're going to scroll down to the categories here on the right. Now there are a lot of categories. Categories is what I use to basically index the different posts. And so by using these categories, it makes it a lot easier to create pages for different speakers, different sermon series, and so forth. And I'll show you those things in a little bit and why that is such a powerful tool. But for now, we need to scroll down, and I usually put the speaker first and then the different kind of categories that they fall into. So this is our brother Bernard Williams. So I'm going to scroll all the way down under speakers to Bernard Williams. And I am going to check the speakers box above that as well. And then this was a word of edification or communion. So we're going to scroll back up. Communion and edification right there. Check that box. And then check messages. And so each of these categories, we check the Bernard Williams box because he has his own page with all the different words of communion and edification that he has. I'll show you that in a moment. We check the speakers box because we do have a speaker, and that's we don't have a speakers. We have a speakers page, but right now this is just for indexing. We scroll back up. There is just a page for all the communion and edifications. And so this will show up on that page as well as the recent messages. That's what the messages category does. And you'll notice also they're kind of nested. Some of them are parents, some of them are children. That's the terminology for like a category that falls into a bigger category. And so that's all the categories we need. we don't use tags. We don't use the featured image. And at that point, we are ready to publish. So I'll scroll back up, and here on the right, that blue publish button, I will click it. Wait a few moments for the page to completely refresh. And now you'll notice it says post published here at the top under edit post. So we can view that post. I'm going to right click, open link in a new tab. So you'll notice a new tab opens, and there is our post already populated. Now let's verify that it showed up in the recent messages, in the communion and edification, and then also on our Brother Bernard's speaker page. So at the top menu, under messages, if you hover, then the drop-down menu appears. Let's first look at the recent messages. There he is at the top of the list. And so this, since it's based on the recent messages, it is the most recent at the top, and then it becomes older and older. The idea being that those people who are looking for the most recent message or a recent message don't have to look very far. If they're looking for an older message, they probably have a scripture reference or speaker in mind, and that's where some of the other pages come into play. Let's double check that it also showed up on the communion edification. Here again, hover over messages at the top menu, click communion edification. We'll let the page load. And there it is at the top again. And then you'll notice April 4th communion. That was my turn to give the word. We also did communion on the 28th. That was me. And then we can scroll down and go further back in time. Just the communions and the edifications. And then let's double check also. We mentioned that Bernard has his own speaker page. I try to keep that up to date for all the speakers. And so under messages at the top menu, you hover and there is a speakers link. And this page lists all the different speakers that I've been able to get their messages cataloged and uploaded. And so we'll look here for our Brother Bernard right there. Click his name. And there is his most recent edification. And there are other words of communion and edification that he has done. And so if, for example, and you go back far enough, we get to when we were just doing audio. So let's go ahead, and we have seen how to upload a message and how the speakers and categories work. Let's upload the Sunday message and then look at how the different pages for Pastor Daryl's messages work. So in my tabs, I'm going to go ahead and close this tab. I don't need it right now. And then on the Edit Post tab, what I want to do is go ahead and add a new post. And this one will be for Sunday's message. We'll give it a moment to load. Now I am going to have to go copy the YouTube link for that. So I'll go back to my YouTube tab at the top. I don't need to copy this one, so I will close it. And what I need to do is go back to the previous page with my back button here at the top left. And then I need the 1 Samuel 8, who shall be my king message. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Again, it starts playing automatically. Not a big deal, but I don't need to listen to it right now. I can just pause it. And then underneath the video, thumbs up, thumbs down, and share. I want to share this video. It pops up with a link that I can copy. And now I'm going to go back at the top to my Add New Post tab. Now, for Pastor Daryl's messages, when he's doing like a book series, preaching through one of the books, I title the sermon by its scripture reference. In my mind, people are probably looking back and looking for what did he say about this chapter or these verses. And so this is a 1 Samuel chapter 8. And that's all I do for the title. Now, it's a little different if it is a guest speaker or if it is a topical message, even by Pastor Daryl. Then I will put the title of the topical message. And that's just a little difference. It kind of indicates that, hey, if it says the scripture reference, it's part of a book series. If it says instead the sermon title, it's a standalone topical or maybe part of a topical series. But I'm going to follow those same steps we did with Brother Bernard's edification. I'm going to click in this editing window. My cursor pops up, and I need to right-click and paste my link. And here again, we see our beautiful artwork by our sister Patty shows up as kind of that front picture of the video, which is also a preview. So now I'm going to go to the right and scroll up to the Divi page settings again, change it to no sidebar. I'm going to scroll down and change the publish immediately. I'm going to backdate it to April 11th. Now, notice I'm doing both the word of edification and the message. They happened on the same day. And so I'm backdating them both to the 11th. I want to make sure they show up. The message happened after or more recently than the word of edification. So I want the message to be at the top, which means it needs to have the most recent timestamp. In other words, a later in the day timestamp. So we used, I believe it was 13 for 1 o'clock, 39 for the word of edification. So you'll notice now it's 10 minutes later. So it's 13:49. And just know if you get them out of order, you can go change that published date and they will move in order on that page on refresh. It's one of the automatic features using those categories to set up that page. So I've backdated it. I press OK. This was Pastor Daryl's message. So I'm looking for speaker Daryl Kyle, senior pastor, speaker. And now I'm going to go up. And Pastor Daryl has all these different categories, topical, and then all these different books he's preached through. And these are all the ones I've been able to get uploaded, either audio or video. There are some more that are on the docket to be uploaded at some point in the future. And so it is Pastor Daryl's messages. It is also 1 Samuel. And then all the way back to the top, messages. Again, we don't do the tags or the featured message, or excuse me, the featured image. So we've got it backdated. We've got our page layout. We've got our categories. We're ready to publish. We will be patient and let our page load. And then let's go ahead. It says the post was published and we can view the post. So let's right click, open link in a new tab. Here's our new tab and there is our sermon post. So let's double check that it shows up in recent messages. And then I will also give you a little orientation to Pastor Daryl's sermon pages because it's a little bit different. It's a little more robust than for all the other speakers. So at the top, hover over Messages, Recent Messages. Now we don't see it at the top. And we don't see it any further down. So let's go ahead and refresh the page. Sometimes your browser saves an old version of the page in its memory. And so we have to refresh it and maybe it'll show up. There it is. It showed up at the top. So we just needed to refresh the page. Nice. At the top, 1 Samuel 8. And then the edification. And then we can go back, see our brother, Pastor Andrew, who joined us a week ago. And everything looks lined up. So let's go check out Pastor Daryl's messages right here. If we hover over messages at the top, in the pop-up menu, we click Pastor Daryl's messages. And you can see on his page, we've got an Old Testament section, a New Testament section, and an Other Teachings section. So let's take a look at a couple of these because there's a couple different things going on because it's a work in progress. Let's look at Genesis. Okay, when this pulls up right now, we see all the messages in backwards scripture order. And why is that? That's because it's using the same kind of category-based setting in order to list all the different audio. And of course, this was preached a while ago, so right now it's only audio. The goal is to eventually have all of these in scripture order, so it's much easier for someone to go back and click through. Only a couple of those are like that right now. I think 1 Peter, and there might be one other one, I forget. 1 Peter is like that. You can see I've manually gone back and put the title and then the audio. And so I have to manually construct the page to put them in the proper scripture order. And that's just the reason that not more pages are like that, because someone has to go back and manually do all that work to copy, to type in the references and the titles and copy in all the different audio. And so that's a work in progress. The goal, of course, is to get them all like that. Let's look at numbers. Numbers, we have all video. And so let's check that out, the numbers page. And so here again, we're using the categories just to list all of them right now. So they're in backwards order. Scripture reference, backwards order, most recent at the top. But you can see how it shows up with all the videos. It does look rather nice. So that's pretty exciting. All the way back to the beginning of Numbers. All with that beautiful cover page as well. Also designed by our sister Patty. And so that's how Pastor Daryl's pages work. Let's go ahead and close this tab. So that's a rundown on how I manage the content for the different messages, the sermons, the words of edification, communion, even for the women's studies, which is something that the most recent women's study is something that could go back and have these added. We do have a page for that, so let me show you briefly. Up here, you can actually go and visit the site. If you hover over Calvary Chapel Perfect Love at the top left, visit site, right-click, open link in new tab. We'll give it a moment to load. Now, sometimes it loads without the black bar and it looks a little funny. It's just, it is what it is. It's kind of a refresh issue, so we're going to refresh the page, and usually that'll make it work. And there it goes. Messages, not messages. It's under ministries, women's ministry. We'll click that. And so here for women's ministry, it's a little more fleshed out, like Pastor Daryl's page was. You can see the different studies. You can see our conference. You can see a section for other teachings. And so Nehemiah, I know that's what we're doing. And so we have some messages here that we can go back and upload for the ladies. They are, of course, on YouTube. This is just a matter of, again, copying that YouTube link and creating the posts. So now that we've covered messages and you know what? Let me show you how to create a new speaker page, because from time to time we'll have a guest person to come and give a sermon. We'll have a guest speaker for a women's study, whatever the case. And so let me show you how to create that. It involves a couple different steps. So let me close this tab. What I'm going to do is, suppose we have a new speaker come in, and that speaker doesn't have a page. He doesn't have a category. So you know what? Let's act as though he just gave a new sermon. So we're going to add a new post. Once it loads, we're going to give it a title. And just for the sake of demonstration, we'll call it New Speaker Sermon. And we're not going to just copy any text. We'll just type copy text here. So we'll just kind of go through the motions, but actually create a post. Page layout, no sidebar. Suppose they gave it this morning. So we'll go ahead and publish immediately. Now, their name is not going to show up here under speakers. So we're going to need to add a new category. And notice this box pops up where I can type it in. New speaker name. I am going to change its parent category to speakers. And then I'm going to click add new category. You'll notice this box turns yellow for a moment. And then here at the top, we see the new speaker name. And then for the, let's suppose it's a sermon. And so we're going to scroll up and down and make sure we have, the only thing is when we do this, sometimes these categories get a little funky. So we're going to carefully watch for speakers. There it is. And then we want to go find a category called guest speakers. There it is. And then also messages. And so we will go ahead and publish this. I will delete it in a moment. Publish. It's all created. We can view our post. Right click, open link in new tab. Click the tab. There's all our information. So of course, if it was a real message, then it would either have audio or video there. Recent messages, it will show up. Should show up here. Remember, we might need to refresh this page. So once it's done loading, we will refresh it. There it is. Good. So that automatically adds it to these pages that are automatically populated. However, we would need to go and create a speaker page, and then we would also need to add that speaker page to the speakers list here at the top menu. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to go back to my editing tab. Now I'm going to show you how to create that speaker page. On the left, I'm not going to create a post. I'm going to create a page. And you'll notice I hover. You can view all pages or add a new page. So we'll add a new page. Give it a moment to load. There it goes. We'll call it just new speaker page. And then this is where it gets a little hairy. We're going to use this divi builder, but before we do the divi builder, we have to be sure to change the divi page settings, because we do not want a sidebar. Page layout, right? Sidebar, no. No sidebar. But now we can come and use the divi builder. And this whole new world of options opens up to us. The reason I don't usually use this is because it's very complex and time consuming to set up. However, on the flip side, it is very powerful. And so it's one of those things that you weigh. With the normal sermon videos, it's not a big deal. But for the speaker pages, where I want it to auto-populate their messages, that's where this becomes a useful tool. So first, I have to pick a number of columns. We just want one column. Then we have to pick what kind of a module. Now, when you click it, that starts to make more sense. What kind of content are we putting? What we're going to put for a speaker is a blog. A blog shows a series of posts. And so that's what we want to do. We want to show a blog shows a series of posts. And so we want to show these posts. Notice at the top post, type posts, change the post count to 99. Included categories. This is where we need to go find our new speaker name. We'll check that box and keep scrolling down. We need to change the content length to show content. We do not show the featured image. We do not show the author. We do show the date. We do not show the categories or the comment counts. We do show the pagination. So then we save and exit. So I know that's a lot to take in. And that speaks to the power and also the complexity of this divi builder. But at this point, we have our speaker page mostly built. And now anytime we add a new post that has the category of that speaker's name, it will automatically be added to that page. One more setting, parent. We need to set a page parent because this is a speaker page. So the parent is going to be speakers. I'll show you how that works in a moment. But we've got our settings set and our page built, so we're going to click Publish. To test it, page published, so we can right-click on View Page to open it in a new window. And there's our new speaker page with the sermon automatically populated. However, it still does not automatically show up on that speaker list. So let me show you. See, there's no speaker listed here. We're going to edit the page. Go back to our Edit Page tab, But now we're not going to add a new page. We're going to view, on the left here says Pages. We're going to view all the pages. And these are all the different pages. If it has a dash, that means it's a child page. So we have a contact page, but then we have underneath that, ask for prayer and send a message. Or visit us, 3 different options there. Same with messages. You see here that communion edification is a sub page. It's its own page, but it falls under the category of messages. And you see here 2 dashes. These are child pages of Pastor Daryl's messages. Now we're going to go find that new person, new speaker, I forget the title, page that we created. Down at the right, we have some arrows. We're going to click the next arrow. Okay, we see our speakers page listed. We are going to need to edit that. So this is the page that we edit to add a speaker to that list. Click Edit. Give it a moment to load. And here's that list. Now this list is alphabetical, and that's on purpose. It just makes it easy to find the person's name. It is alphabetical by first name. And so this was a new speaker. So we're going to come under Nathan Warren. We're going to press Enter or Return. It adds a couple extra spaces, not a big deal. First thing we need to do is we're going to use this link tool in this toolbox up here. Insert Edit Link. Now we're going to start typing his name or her name, and it was new speaker. There it is, new speaker page, new speaker sermon. We want the page, so we'll click it and press Enter. And notice that it automatically changed it to the words new speaker page. And now let's get rid of that extra space. I'll come up right after Nathan Warren. I'm going to use my delete key, or if you're on a Mac, it's going to be function delete, maybe twice. And now I'm going to press Shift Enter. And now it's spaced appropriately. So when I update this page, we will be able to go to our speaker page, refresh it, and see the new speaker listed. So it's done refreshing. Here's my speakers page tab. Click it. It's not listed yet. Let's refresh it. Okay, the black bar is missing. Let's refresh it one more time. Sometimes it takes a couple times. Okay, well, it doesn't want to show the black bar. No big deal. We can still see under our brother Nathan's name. We see the new speaker page. We click it, and there's the new speaker's sermon automatically populated. Okay, now let me show you how to delete all those pages. And the process for editing is similar, except instead of delete, you would click edit, just like we did for this speaker page, because we really need all this. And it's good practice. So I'm going to close this tab. I'm going to go back to my edit page. I'm going to view all pages. Now, if you know exactly what page you're looking for, there's a search box up here, search pages, and this was new speaker. So we're going to search right here. And this is the one we want to delete, so we'll send it to the trash. We'll just click trash. If we needed to make an edit, we would simply click edit like we did before. But we're just going to go ahead and click trash. But we also want to remove that name from our speaker page because it's not a real person. So we'll edit it. Let it load. Several ways to do this. It's just like a word processor. Personally, I like to left click, drag and highlight, and just press the backspace or delete key on Mac. Now I've still got that extra line. I'm going to hit the backspace or the delete key on Mac one more time. And it's right back to how it was. And I'll click update. So the new speaker page is gone. The listing on the speaker page is gone, but we don't need that extra sermon either. So we're going to go delete the new speaker sermon. Now remember, sermons are in posts. So I need to go to my posts. And when I hover, I get the option for all posts. Now the process is exactly the same, but here they automatically list in most recent at the top, which is nice because we don't have to search. It's just this one at the top. We will click trash. And now all three of those extra just practice content is all in the trash can. So that covers the large swath of what we do on a normal basis. There's a couple extra things. There's special events like announcing a women's conference. There's the homepage pictures. Right, so when we change the sermon series or, again, the women's conference picture. Let me show you how to do those. So the first thing I'm going to do is go to the home page and show you around there. So on the pages tab at the left, I'll hover and click all pages. And you see this one entitled CCPL Home, front page, divi. Front page means it is set with the setting of being the front page. Divi means it uses that divi builder. We want to edit it. So we click edit. We need to give it a few moments to load because that divi builder is very comprehensive. But you see some different things here. One is the post title. We just don't really need to mess with that. But those pictures that rotate on the home page, they are here in this gallery, like a picture gallery. If you click these three bars here at the left, you can edit that gallery. Now, I would strongly urge you just to leave all these settings alone. For the pictures, for images, you want to update the gallery. And what's neat is you can drag these around and change the order. Right, just like that. And then once you like the order, you can update your gallery. You can also add pictures to the gallery. You can also delete pictures from the gallery. To delete them, you simply click that X, and it'll be gone. So let's go ahead and just delete the, we'll delete the Samuel one. And now let me show you how to add a picture to the gallery. So we'll add back that Samuel one, add to gallery. Now you have some options. This is your media library. This is what already exists on the web server. If your picture's already here, like the sermon picture I just deleted, you can just click it and add to gallery. If it is not, if you want to upload a new picture, at the top under add to gallery, you have the option to upload files. You can either use the file folders and click and drag your picture here, or you can press select file and browse your hard drive for that picture. Okay, I don't need to do that though. the sermon picture is already in the gallery. And I want to clarify is that when you upload that file, it's automatically added to your gallery. So it'll stay there unless you delete it. And so you see it now, I've selected it here. And all I do is click Add to Gallery. It automatically shows up at the end. So I would click and drag all the way to the front and update gallery. Now at that point, we're not done. We have to press Save and Exit here in the green at the bottom. And we're still not done. We have to update the page here on the right. Click Update. But before I do, I just want to show you where the other information on the page is. We have a blurb. Oh, that's the Facebook and Zoom info. And then we have some text down here. And this is like the contact information. Let's take a look real quick. On this other tab I have open. Go to the home page. We were just doing editing to this menu right here, or excuse me, this gallery of pictures. Then we have this gray section, Sunday worship, all the Zoom information. Then we have this darker gray section, connect with us, physical address with a map. And then we have this dark gray section, recent posts, connect with us, contact us. All these sections are edited on this edit page. Excuse me, all but the very bottom. This very bottom page is not edited on that home page, but all the rest of them are. So let me show you real quick. In that edit page, if you want a background to span the whole width of the page, it's going to be, I believe, this blue section, this outermost section here in the builder. You click the 3 bars. Now, so let's try this bottom section in the 3 bars. We'll click it. Okay. There it is. So you can see here that when we click that background tab, it shows us that we have a background there. We can get rid of it entirely, or we can change it. I don't really want to change it, so I'm just going to use the X. And back on this middle section should be a lighter gray. So let's double check. 3 bars on the blue. In this background, so I click this paint fill, and there's that lighter gray color. And so if I did change it, I'd press Save and Exit. I don't want to change it. I'm just going to click the X. Okay, so that's a little rundown on how the home page works. Now, if I were to do a special event, what I like to do, and there's a lot of ways to do this, let's suppose we needed a registration link for the women. I would go to probably right underneath the gallery. I would create a brand new standard section with 1 column. I would give it some kind of a very attention-getting background. So notice there's no background. We'll click the plus. We'll just make it bright red for the sake of the example. And then we're also going to need to do like a text. So insert module. We'll just do a blurb, which is like a smaller section of text. We don't need a title, but this would be the registration link. Click here to register. Save and exit. And then we need to update the page. And let's see how that affects this home page. After it finishes loading, I'm going to go back to my home page tab. You'll notice it hasn't updated yet. I need to refresh my page. And there is my bright red section that would have a registration link for women to go and register for that women's retreat. So you notice I put the picture on the carousel, but then when we actually are using, say, a registration link, I would create a new section that is a nice bright color that would then say go here to register. I'm going to get rid of that, so I'm going to go back to my edit page. And that was this second section. So I can delete all of it just by, on the blue, clicking the X. And it disappeared immediately. Don't press it again. We delete another one. We don't want to do that. But if you accidentally do, then you can always refresh the page before you save and then just reload the page and it won't save the changes. But I deleted just that one section. I'm going to update it. Okay, let's double check by going to the home page and refreshing it. And it's gone. Beautiful. And let's briefly review what we've done. We looked at how to take the messages, copy the links from YouTube, create a new post and paste the link into that post, and then how to set the categories on that post for the speaker, for whether it's word of edification or whether it's one of pastor's messages, and how to set the settings so that it will automatically show up in the recent messages and then for the corresponding speaker or pastor's sermon series. We did go over how to create those sermon series pages or those special speaker pages. And then we also looked at a couple different things we might do with special events. I know this has been a really long video, so I'm going to go ahead and end it there. But that should give you all the tools you need to go ahead and manage it the way I do. There's lots of other options, but I don't use them. And so feel free to explore. And anyway, I hope that helps, and have a blessed day.